Hey you guys, how y'all doing? I wanted to do a video on different ways to make faux leather. I get a lot of questions and comments on my how to make faux leather with the paper bag video, asking do I have to use a paper bag, or one of the comments that inspired this video was someone said that not everybody can get paper bags, and I know this too. Like, the only reason I get them is because I pick up my groceries. Yeah, most of the time when you go into the store you're getting plastic bags, but you do not have to use paper bags. You can use anything you want, really. Packing paper is really popular. I actually haven't done one with packing paper. This is one from Amazon. It has these holes in it, but it's like perforated. But yeah, you can use packing paper, paper bag, of course. The brown paper bag, of course, is my most used. I have used parchment paper, or this is the paper that you put down when you're painting, but it feels like parchment paper. I've used vellum. I have videos for all of these as well. But yeah, I've used vellum, cardstock. This is a piece of craft cardstock. You can use Amazon packaging. I've done that too. That one too. Yeah, Amazon packaging. I've used cork. That was a comment that somebody made, and so I had to do it. But yeah, you can use anything you want. You do not have to use paper bags. I've used policy envelopes, and like I said, I have videos for all of these. I just wanted to, do a video on different ways you can make faux leather. And you do not have to use craft cardstock. You can use or craft paper, I mean. You can use anything you want, any color. I've done black. I don't have that anymore because I used it, but you can do any color you want. Here is another one of the paper bag. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the different types of mediums you can use, or I'm not sure if that's the right word, but that I usually use this, which is a mixture of Mod Podge and the re-inkers. I have a video on how to make this. I'll put it in the link in the description and up in the cards. But I use this, and then I also use just regular acrylic paint. And of course, like, these are all brown, but like I said, you do not have to use brown. You can use whatever color you want. I've used this, the antique wax. I think this one is done with that. Makes beautiful faux leather. And then of course your top coat to finish it, you can use Mod Podge, or I have this one here. This is the Liquitex acrylic, or Basics acrylic matte finish. You can use that to finish it. That is going to be more of a permanent, and then this is, I've used this and I've never had any issues. My first video I did on my recipe book, I did a piece of faux leather and I used that, and it's holding up awesome. And that's a recipe book, so I don't keep it in the kitchen though. So if you don't have re-inkers to make the Mod Podge mixture, you can also use the spray stains. I have this one in Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain, I believe. Oh, and Antique Linen. And I only have the Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain. Oh, and Scorched Timber now, but I haven't even used those yet. Yeah, so somebody made a comment on that video saying that, like, not everybody can get paper bags, and so I wanted to make this video to talk about different ways to make faux leather. I know I've already said that, I'm sorry. And then she also said, wouldn't it be easier to, instead of using a paintbrush, yeah, she said, wouldn't it be easier to use a sponge? So I'm going to be doing that on this piece of paper today while I talk to you about different mediums and everything that you can use. I've already talked about the paper. Yeah, so I'm going to be making one out of this, and I'm just going to tear off a piece, and then I'm going to cut this off because we don't need that. Oh, it's already perforated here too, but you know what? I'm just going to tear it. Okay, I'm cutting off the edges, but do not throw this away because you can use this for ephemera, like collage or something like that. So this is going to be a small piece, but I'm just showing you, like I said, while I talk about the different ways you can make faux leather, showing you the way that she suggested on a piece of packing paper and with a sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and open these. I have these ones too. These are both from Dollar Tree. you don't have to spend a lot of money on them either. This is like one that has the rough side on the other. These are actually nail guard sponges, which I thought was pretty cool. But I'm going to be using this one. I'm going to cut it in half too, because that way it's not so big and we can use it twice. I'm going to set up everything and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my packing paper. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it with the sponge. The reason I'm doing this is because that person made a comment on not being able to get paper bags. As I said, you do not have to use paper bags. You can use whatever you want. And I will link all of my faux leather playlists down below for you. I have a whole playlist on the different types of faux leather that I've done. So let's do this piece of packing paper, and then we're going to use the sponge, and I'm going to use the chocolate barrel or chocolate bar by Apple Barrel. I can't talk. But yeah, I've used this. I'll link that video down below on how to make this as well. I've used the antique wax, and you can use any color you want. You don't have to do brown. You can use any color you want. I'm actually going to be making notebooks, books with these two colors for my man's sister, if I can ever get around to it. I made him the black one. So I've done black, dark blue, and I'm going to be doing those. I mean, you can do any color you want. I've done red for my son, and I believe I used the Amazon package for that. So you do not have to use the color paper. You can always use the packing paper, and just cover it really well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I have my water bottle with the glycerin in it. This is 4 ounces of water to 2 teaspoons of glycerin. Everybody's always asking me about that too, so I want to make that clear. I have a video on that too that I'll have down below. I'm just going to crinkle this up a little more. And this paper doesn't wrinkle as much as the brown paper bags do, so that's actually kind of cool too, because somebody also commented on that faux leather is not really that wrinkly. So you see it's not that wrinkled. The paper bag actually wrinkles quite a bit even once you start painting on it. So if you don't want it that wrinkled, use packing paper, because this is actually pretty nice and it's really soft. I've also used conditioner. I don't like that, but it is an option. I don't think it makes it feel as soft and like leathery as the glycerin does. But yeah, somebody said that you don't always have to wrinkle it. So yeah, these two here, the policy envelope and the Amazon packaging, don't need to be wrinkled. And they look really good. It just looks like really smooth leather, and it looks cool. I love it. But most of the other papers I've found, the parchment paper that I did, the craft stock, and of course the brown paper bag, seems like it works better once you wrinkle it, because it just looks like a piece of painted paper if you don't. Totally up to you. But yeah, like I said, if you don't like it that wrinkled, then this packing paper is definitely a good option, because it's not super wrinkled, even though I've already wrinkled it quite a few times. So I'm going to put some of the paint in this little palette here, and I'm actually going to dilute it with water to make it a little more easy to use. And another thing I've heard people use, I haven't tried it, is lotion. I always use the glycerin because I just love the way it feels. But you can use conditioner. It just, to me, feels a little more crispy and crunchy than it does if you use glycerin. So let's go ahead and let me shake this first. I haven't used it in a while. I haven't tried a white faux leather. Maybe I'll do that too, off camera, and then I'll show you. And put some water in it. And of course I'm using the water with the glycerin, because I use that for pretty much everything. I need something to stir it with. I really need some popsicle sticks. I'll just use the end of this paintbrush. So let's go ahead and dip our sponge in, probably wet it a little bit. And I want to see if this is going to give it a different texture too. Not really. Of course, this is not big enough for the sponge. Okay, I'm just going to do this. This is what I usually do anyway. And then just spray it with water. So you can do it like this, or you can do it in like a little palette like I had it. It just wasn't big enough. Yeah, it does seem to be easier to spread with the sponge. So you can use a paintbrush, you can use, like I said, the foam brush. or you can use a sponge. And see how it's flattening out quite a bit. You can always wrinkle it again once it's dry if you want, because like this is flattening out a lot. Yeah, just use the sponge with the paint that's already in there, which is also nice. Gonna need some more over here though. How did I get paint on my bottle? Yeah, that covers really well. I like the sponge. I don't know why I never thought of that. Thank you to the person that made that comment. Yeah, I like it. Okay, that piece is done. And we'll let it dry, and then I'll get another piece and we'll do a white one. Okay, let me go ahead and put this one down and I'll get another piece ready, or I'll do a white piece and I'll show you what it looks like. So I made these two little pockets for, or envelopes I mean, for a video, and I used the piece that I used the conditioner on. So I've only done one piece, and that's this one with conditioner. Everything else I always use glycerin. And this one's definitely like more crispy and crunchy than this one here is actually done with glycerin. And I can feel it's softer. I wish you could feel it. But yeah, the glycerin definitely makes it feel more leathery to me. That's totally up to you. The conditioner is an option. I just feel like it makes it more crunchy and crispy than the glycerin does. I just wanted to show you that and give you an example. I know you can't feel it, I'm sorry, but you can try it and see if you like it. I just prefer glycerin. Yeah, the sponge is definitely faster than a paintbrush. You saw how fast I did that. I think I actually used too much paint on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and set that one aside. Okay, you guys, so I forgot in the comment that person made until I went back to add it to the video that she said, wouldn't it also be easier to use a sponge to put on your Mod Podge? So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use this sponge, the same one that I used. I just rinsed it out and put my Mod Podge on with it as well. And I always dilute my Mod Podge, so this is like a bottle that I always keep, and then I just refill it and I add water to it. It makes it more easy to spread. And then I have a bigger bottle up on my cabinet that I refill it with that is not diluted in case I need it for other stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and I guess pour a little bit on. You see how watery it is? And then just spread it out with the sponge. Yeah, so you see, yes, it is definitely easier to use a sponge than a paintbrush. The paintbrush I use for Mod Podge or any of my like top coats is definitely getting worn out. So using a sponge is definitely a good idea. Like helps get into those little valleys too that wrinkling leaves. Gonna need a little bit more down here. I'm not going to do the white piece because honestly I'm not a fan of the way the white piece looks. It doesn't really look like leather. I'll have to maybe play with that a little more and see if I can get it to look like leather. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way it turned out. And again, I like the way, what I said earlier when I was putting the paint on, how the sponge absorbs some of the paint or Mod Podge. So you don't have to keep adding more. Like with the paintbrush, you do. So I definitely like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like once it's dry. Or maybe I'll hit it with the heat gun. I'm impatient. Hit that with the heat gun and see what it looks like. Okay, so here it is all dry. It did not take long to dry at all with the heat gun, and it probably wouldn't have taken that long either just to let it sit, because you can definitely spread it out thinner with the sponge than you can with the paintbrush. So like with the paintbrush, sometimes you get little puddles, puddles of Mod Podge that when they dry, they have more of a shine to them. With the sponge, you can spread it out thinner, you get no puddles, and it dries faster. So I definitely like the sponge better, especially for the Mod Podge or any other varnish you might use. So yeah, I hope that that was helpful, and I'm glad that I remembered to finish it because I forgot, like I said, the comment said that as well. So yeah, I'm glad that I did that. That I definitely do like it with a little bit of a sheen sometimes. It depends on what you're using it for, I guess, or just what your preference is. Sometimes I like it matte, sometimes I like it with a little bit of sheen like this. So totally up to you. I'm still on the hunt for a matte medium that's actually matte. I did make one and I will post that video or put that video down in the description that actually is matte, because even my Liquitex one is not completely matte. I'm not completely sure. I'm still kind of testing that one. But anyway, I did go ahead and do the white one as well. I still don't like it. This one definitely is more matte. Like I can hardly see a sheen. Just a little bit. It just doesn't look like leather. I don't know if I just didn't put enough white paint on it or I don't know. But I definitely don't like it. Yeah, and somebody also asked one time in a comment why I don't do the back, or if you can do the back. It depends on what you're using it for. Like most of the time I'm using it for a journal cover, or I'm going to be covering something with it, so you don't really need to do the back because you're not going to see it, and it also would probably help stick better if it's not done, not finished. But you can do the back if you need to. If you're going to be using it for something that you would be seeing both the back and the front, then of course you can do the back. I definitely wanted to mention that. I think I mentioned it in another video. If not, then there you go. Okay, so I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope I didn't talk too fast, and I hope I gave you a lot of useful information about making faux leather so you can make your own. I love making faux leather. It's just so much fun and so many uses for it. So I hope this was helpful. Give the video a thumbs up if you did like it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Like I said, I will have all of my faux leather videos linked down below for you. The glycerin video, any other videos I mentioned in this video for you. I will have all the mediums and everything that I used for this video linked down below as well. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye guys.